Welcome to Badminton Unlimited, your weekly access to the world of badminton action and beyond. This week, we're in Tokyo to drop in on one of badminton's elite, Kenichi Tago, as he talks about taking the next step. And we talk to the stars of the game as we look ahead to the upcoming season. We start the show at the end. The cosmopolitan and dynamic city of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, was a backdrop for the 2013 Super Series finals. 40 of the top-ranked singles and doubles players were in attendance at the annual Closer to the Badminton World Federation season. But before the hostilities could begin, there was a chance for the players to decompress as a welcome dinner was prepared.
Dinner is really nice. Also, the food is really good. With few magic tricks we had, so it was fantastic. And hopefully, the tournament also goes on well. And I hope to do well here.
In 2013, the stars continued to dominate, and no more so than the king of the court, Lee Chong-wei. The #1 singles player reconsidered his retirement plans and had an inspired season, rattling off 6 Super Series wins.
I'm very proud of my personal performance. I win the 6th Super Series, and this year in the last Super Series final, I hope so I can win more, and last one Super Series final.
Not that he had it all his own way. At the BWF World Championships in August, the crown that has eluded him for so long proved to be unattainable yet again. Lin Dan, considered to be one of the best players to have played the sport, returned from a lengthy spell on the sidelines to win in a dramatic and heartbreaking final.
Yeah, I lose in the World Championship in the final in Lindan. I think it's a 3-game, and I think it's the last few points I have my leg had cramp, and I think I lose in the World Championship because I want to win the World Championship. I never win. I just 2 times in the final. This now also lose. I think I try one more year for next year.
In the doubles format, China was leaps ahead of the rest, especially in the women's and mixed doubles. Of the 24 tournaments in the Super Series for mixed and women's doubles, a China pair won 17 of them. It's not surprising to find China sitting at the top of both rankings.
没有什么压力吧，因为是排名第一，我觉得
I really don't feel the pressure at being #1. There is no difference between being #1 or another number. We just go out there every year and try and win as many tournaments as possible.
一年里面去都拿冠军吧。
Indonesia has the #1 ranked men's doubles team. Hendra Setiawan and Muhammad Ahsan partnered up in 2012. Their first win came in January 2013 at the Malaysian Open. They would go on to win 3 more Super Series titles and the BWF World Championship. Although the women's singles is still led by China, there have been some signs that other nations are making inroads. By the middle of the season, China had only taken 2 of the 6 Super Series titles available. But the latter part of 2013 would see them re-establish their reputation, claiming 5 of the remaining 6 Super Series titles.
从年头世界排名第5到年底世界排名第2，中间还掉过。
My ranking dropped to 7th, and my performances have been up and down. But from the second half of the year, ever since the French Open, my results has been getting better.
一定要说这2场输的印度的对手。
So as the Super Series finals got underway, the question that was being asked was whether the old order would remain or would there be signs of a regime change. Up first was the women's singles final. Li Xuerui of China was up against Tai Tzu-ying. The Chinese Taipei player had completed a grueling match against favorite Wang Shixian the night before and was hoping that her fairy tale journey would see her lift the winner's trophy. But the Olympic champion was in no mood for sentimentality as she raced through the first game 21-8. Although Tai Tzu-ying put up more of a fight in the second game, it was clear that the lengthy semi-finals and late finish had taken its toll. The match ended 21-8, 21-14. Li defends the Super Finals crown and confirms herself as the #1 women's singles player. Into the doubles, and we start with the women's. Ma Jing and Tang Jinhua of China were up against Christina Pedersen and Camila Rita-Yul. The Danish pair had never beaten their opponents, but were in determined mood from the outset. The first game was a battle of wills, with the China pair looking for gaps, and Pedersen especially showing her power. The first game went the way of the Danish pair 21-19. The sheer aggression of the Danes seemed to overwhelm Ma and Tang as they were brushed aside in the second. The match finished 21-19, 21-12. Christina Pedersen made history later in the day as she and partner Joachim Fischer-Nielsen defeated Zhang Nan and Zhao Yunlei 12-21, 21-19, 21-10 in the mixed doubles. Pedersen became the first player ever to collect 2 champions medals at the same Super Series finals. The men's doubles saw Hendra Setiawan and Muhammad Ahsan take on Kim Ki-jung and Kim Sarang of Korea. It turned out to be a straightforward affair for the Indonesians as a combination of power and athleticism overpowered their opponents. It finished 21-14, 21-16. The men's singles final matched the master of the Super Series Lee Chong-wei and Tommy Sugiarto from Indonesia. Lee was in control of this one from the start. Deft touches and a commanding defense was enough to see off the challenge of his youthful opponent as he cruised to a 21-10, 21-12 win. Lee now has 4 Super Series final crowns and cements his place in badminton history. So the curtain came down on the BWF season. Malaysia had been the perfect setting, and it seems the players responded with some outstanding matches. For the governing body, the end of one cycle offers possibilities for renewal.
We hope it will again improve our sport. There is a small change with a new cycle, let's say. We are also expanding to a new continent with the Australian Open. We are also increasing with the prize money again for the players, which will happen continuously within the 4 years. And we hope for more media attention with a better presentation that we are trying to achieve.
So, as we turn the chapter on 2013, there is a sense of optimism that there is much, much more to come from badminton this year. Some trivia for you in Who Am I? I was born in Germany. I made my international debut in 2003. I won my first BWF Grand Prix title in July 2011. Find out who this is after the break. When we get back on Badminton Unlimited, we head to Tokyo to spend an afternoon with Japan's #1 men's shuttler, Kenichi Tago. Before the break, we asked you to identify our mystery person. The answer is Marc Schwebler. Schwebler was born in 1984 in Bonn, Germany. He's the current European champion, holds 7 German national titles, and he's Germany's #1 men's singles player.
He doesn't give up. He just keeps going. He's a machine.
We head to the land of the rising sun and its capital, Tokyo. There was not much evidence of the sunshine as Badminton Unlimited visited in the depths of winter. Despite the harsh conditions, it was business as usual for the #1 Japanese men's singles shuttler when we came calling. Even after an exhausting season touring the globe, Kenichi Tago was busy honing his skills ahead of a new year of badminton. 2013 was a good year for Tago as he continued to establish himself on the senior circuit. He reached #3 in the world ranking, his best ever. But perhaps it says a lot about the man, that he's not satisfied with what he has achieved.
I may have the best results overseas, but in comparison to the top players, I still see room for improvement. There is no quick fix in filling the gap between myself and the top players. It was a big realization for me as the year progressed.
His harsh analysis has some truth to it. He has failed to pick up a Super Series title despite reaching 3 finals this term. but he believes he has gained valuable experience that will help him in the future.
I had many opportunities to advance to the finals, and I'm beginning to see what needs to be done to win. Despite not winning the finals, my best achievement came from the fact that I learned to strategize during the matches.
Tago comes from a rich badminton pedigree. His mother, Yoshiko Yonekura, was a successful player herself in the late 70s and early 80s. She won numerous international titles and was part of a Japan team that won the Uber Cup in 1979 and 1981. It's something Tago is rightly proud of.
Well, back then I didn't really feel much about it. But as I look back now, I recognize the numerous trophies she had won and realize how great a player she must have been back then.
In 2010, an unfancied Tago announced himself to the world when he made it to the final of the All England Championships. Despite his then lowly ranking, he had beaten 3 top seeds to make it there. He was the first Japanese player in 50 years to do so. He would lose a tight match to one of the best players in the world, Lee Chong-wei.
I feel that it was simply because I was the first Japanese player in half a century to get to the All England final. Other countries are producing strong players, and looking back, the record isn't much for major badminton countries. I was happy back then, but that's now in the past. When I retire and look back again, perhaps, it will be a nice record if it still matters to Japanese people.
It's this steely determination to live in the moment that bodes well for Tago. He already has a plan of attack for the upcoming season that will hopefully help him claim that elusive Super Series title.
The first thing is pacing. I need to consider it much more in matches which are longer compared to the juniors. Endurance and patience are also vital now. At the junior level, you may play the way you want to and still win. But at the elite level, you have to consider your opponent's moves and how not to let him play to his strengths. It becomes a focal point.
For him to stand on that winner's podium, Tago knows he has to overcome a player that has become an unmovable object for the better part of half a decade, Lee Chong-wei. The 24-year-old beat the Malaysian for the first time in 15 attempts during last year's French Open. But he knows he'll have to improve this head-to-head record if he is to challenge the world number one's authority.
He was never my rival to begin with. He's way above my league, and I'm in awe whenever I see him play. He has an incredible charisma with the spectators, which not many players can have. I'm sure there are other players who can be like him, but he's truly a special player.
The glittering career of Chong-wei would have inspired many to emulate. And although Tago's career has only just begun to blossom, he shares with us how he would like to shape his own legacy.
I would simply like to be remembered. If junior players and fans can remember me as someone who was good enough and played great matches, then that's good enough for me. Results are important as much as quality of performances. In that sense, I hope to leave something for Japanese badminton history when I retire.
Kenichi Tago's humility and tenacious quest for success are distinct traits that we're sure the locals are just as proud to call their own. It's definitely far from sayonara to Tago's fledgling career, as his appetite couldn't be hungrier for a maiden title in 2014. Badminton is the fastest racket sport. It requires agility, athleticism, and stamina. The sheer intensity of matches produces some exceptional physical feats, but just how exceptional are they? With help from the Badminton Academy at the Singapore Sports School, Fit to Play aims to find out what it takes to be an elite badminton player. This week, we look at the forehand smash. This stroke is the most potent shot, and when executed well, there is very little defense against it. But what are the dynamics behind it? The kinematics are stunning. The upswing racket velocity clocks 25 meters per second. That's equivalent to the fastest land animal on Earth, the cheetah. The time of contact between the shuttlecock and the strings is a minuscule 4 milliseconds. The shuttlecock zips off the racket head with an initial velocity of 76 meters per second. That's 3 times faster than the cheetah. And the world record for the smash, 493 kilometers per hour, proudly held by Tan Boon Hyung in test conditions. That's a stunning 100 kilometers faster than an F1 car. To generate these eye-popping numbers, you need arm muscles that can pack a punch. The wrist flexor and extensor in the lower arm, along with the biceps and triceps, perform simultaneously with the deltoid muscles of the shoulder as it completes the forehand smash. Head fitness coach Quinton Roman explains the training required.
Badminton is a physically demanding sport that requires athletes to be strong, powerful, agile, and flexible. Physical conditioning for the smash involves various muscle groups, but the focal points are the arms, shoulders, and chest. These exercises include the incline dumbbell chest press, the plyometric push-ups, the overhead tricep extension performed with a resistance band, followed by the overhand and underhand wrist curls. And if you can do that, you'll be strong and fit to play.
After the break, we take a look at what we can expect in the upcoming season. With 2013 behind us, the shuttlers are looking ahead to the new year with anticipation and renewed resolution. 2014 will be a frenetic one with plenty of badminton on offer. 12 Super Series and Super Series Premier tournaments are in store, plus scores of other international events. The World Championships, of course, will be a highlight. National pride is in focus during May as the biennial Thomas and Uber Cup takes place. Outside the BWF arena, nations will be battling each other in the Commonwealth Games and the Asian Games. China, the powerhouse of world badminton, has been a dominant force for many years, and its players won't be relinquishing their stranglehold on the sport anytime soon. Their women world singles #1 and recently crowned Super Series winner Li Xuerui is confident of starting off on the right foot.
Winning the Super Series final has given me a good start to 2014. It's definitely a boost to my confidence and will encourage me to do even better. This is something I needed to do to perform better for the new year.
Breathing down her neck is compatriot and former world #1 Wang Shixian. Not forgetting current world champion Ratchanok Inthorn of Thailand, the 18-year-old became the youngest world champion after defeating Li Xuerui in the final.
I will try to do my best. In 2014, we have the World Championship and the Asian Games. I want to do well in both of these tournaments and to win medals for Thailand.
China's dominance extends to the women's doubles, but a certain Danish pair is wedged between the two Chinese duos. Christina Pedersen and Camilla Rita-Yul, who have been climbing steadily in the world ranking, are especially looking forward to the World Championships on their home soil.
We still have something we can improve in our game, and we need to take small steps at a time. We want to find a way to get more points, especially against the top 4 and Chinese.
In the mixed doubles, China's Zhang Nan and Zhao Yunlei may be the world's #1, but they have to keep a lookout for Indonesia's Tontowi Ahmad and Liliana Natsir. Coming from a country that has produced numerous world and all-England champions, its current heroes are certainly not content to take it easy.
Di 2014 gol kita juga Our goal for 2014 is the All England. We want to achieve a hat-trick. At the same time, our focus is also on the World Championships and the Asian Games.
Indonesia's other world champions, Hendra Setiawan and Muhammad Ahsan, will be determined to protect their world #1 status in the men's doubles. But the second spot is up for grabs, with Korea's pairing of Lee Yong-dae and Ko Sung-hyun having gone their separate ways. While Denmark's most experienced men's doubles, Matthias Bo and Carsten Mogensen, who slipped 2 notches to world #3 after disappointing outings, are currently working hard preparing for the new season.
I think we as persons want to improve all over. We are two perfectionists who are not satisfied with anything. So we always work very hard to improve our skills.
Men's singles may be in the grip of Malaysia's Lee Chong-wei and China's Chen Long, but there is a player who is hoping to upset the status quo. Japan's Kenichi Tago is desperate to stand on the winner's podium at a major tournament. He knows exactly what he has to do.
I never really realized I needed to improve my game until I compared myself to the top players. I was just not powerful enough or quick enough on the court. My performances were inconsistent. I feel if I can improve myself in these areas, I'll get better results.
With 7 Super Series titles in 2013 alone, world #1 and king of Malaysian badminton, Lee Chong-wei still wants more. His focus will be on the Asian and Commonwealth Games, and a title that has eluded him and Malaysia since 1992.
Yeah, Thomas Cup, I never win in the Thomas Cup. I just go in the semi-final. I hope so I can play more and can win the first point for my country and for my team, because I am still in the first single.
9-time champions China will be out again to defend the title, but they would have to fend off Korea, Japan, Denmark, and 13-time winner Indonesia for the prize trophy. The Women's World Team Championships, the Uber Cup, has also seen China cast a very big shadow, but one country to look out for is Korea. With a nation already producing world-class players, Korea is placing high hopes on its women's team.
There is a high expectation for us in the Uber Cup. Korea has won the cup in 2010 in Malaysia. We are runners-up in 2012 to China, so we are expected to perform well in the coming one. I hope we can win the Uber Cup for Korea.
All eyes will be on the return of one of badminton's greatest players, Lin Dan, after his self-imposed international exile. There has been whispers that his comeback will be in early 2014, but how much will he shake up the established order remains to be seen. What seems sure is that 2014 is set to be a stellar year for the sport. Heroes will return, champions will be crowned, and new stars will be born. Badminton Unlimited will be right here to bring it all to you. Next week on Badminton Unlimited, we head to Vietnam to visit the poster child for the sport in his country, Nguyen Thien Minh. And we're in India to find out how legend Prakash Padukone is helping to develop the next generation of badminton stars.